Hey everyone, I'm graphic designer Roberto Blake, and today I'm going to talk to you about what graphic design is in 2013. Now, there's a reason I waited to the end of the year to do this video. The reason is that a lot has changed in the landscape of graphic design. The other reason is that a lot of the current information out there on graphic design is a little outdated. One of my ongoing missions with this particular YouTube channel is to do what I can to contribute to updating the information out there for graphic designers that are either in the field already or students and are looking into entering this career profession. So with that in mind, I wanted to talk about what is graphic design and how important it is. Most people think of graphic design as the work that they see done in Photoshop for magazines, billboards, etc., but it's much more than that. Graphic design extends across multiple disciplines and multiple industries, too numerous to actually do any justice in this particular video. To just give you a scope of how involved graphic design is, you can't wake up out of bed in any modern place in the entire world and not experience the results of a graphic designer. From the icons on your phone to the logo on the tube of toothpaste when you get up in the morning, you're experiencing graphic design. When you see a street sign, when you see the instructions on a medicine bottle, the ingredients on your food, you're experiencing graphic design. When your favorite TV show comes on and you see the intro, you're experiencing graphic design. Yeah, you're experiencing visual effects and video editing too, but there's also graphic design in there. That's how expansive, that's how all-encompassing graphic design is as a profession. It is literally everywhere, and it is literally involved in everything that we experience and everything that is communicated to us throughout our day. So that again begs the question, what exactly is graphic design? I usually refer to graphic design as visual problem solving, but in some ways that's almost an oversimplification. Graphic design can be broken down into four primary components as far as I'm concerned: creativity, communication, presentation, and problem solving. Let's focus on creativity for a second. Being a graphic designer usually requires some level of creativity. You don't have to be the most creative, out there, zany person in the world, but if you are, it certainly helps sometimes. Being creative is about seeing the world in a unique way, seeing things not only for what they are, but for their potential and what they could be, and also seeing the individual components that make them up. This is part of why you can be a serious-minded person and still be extraordinarily creative. Creativity in and of itself requires some level of analytical skill. Creativity is also something that is in high demand and short supply. So creativity sometimes is your ultimate leverage as a designer. Ultimately, the more creative you are, the better you will be in advancing in your career. Not to mention that you'll have different ways of approaching problem solving that many people may not be used to that can also be a commodity. Communication. What we do is ultimately visual communication, but that doesn't mean that your communication skills should be limited to just what you can do visually. You have to be able to communicate and speak with different people, whether they be clients, whether they be employers, or whether they be your teammates or coworkers within an art department, and be able to express your ideas in a way that people can understand, can empathize with, and appreciate, so that the work can be done right and it can be done well, with everybody understanding what their role is and understanding ultimately what you're trying to accomplish. This is sometimes where a lot of designers fall short. It's their communication skills. The ability to communicate through your design is great, but the ability to communicate properly with people involved in your design process is essential. Beyond that, a lot of designers also fall short in communication visually sometimes, in the fact that they can create stunning visuals, but they don't really communicate any intent, any call to action, any sense of value or purpose. In this way, you're an artist, not a designer. Design has intent and focus and purpose behind it. Design is meant to communicate. It's not supposed to be purely interpretive. Presentation. Presentation skills are very important. In design, it should go without saying, but presentation skills sometimes are glossed over to meaning simply your portfolio presentation or how you present to a client. Now, it's not to say those things are unimportant, but how you present in general, everything from your appearance to the way that you lay things out, the tools that you use in terms of presentation and the way that you leverage them, all of these things are important. Presentation when you're a designer isn't everything, it's the only thing. Finally, problem solving. Problem solving can mean a lot of things, and I really don't want to generalize it per se, but the thing is, it's a very involved subject, and I could do a video just on problem solving by itself as a designer. The thing to keep in mind is that there are different approaches to problem solving. Not everyone will handle things the same way. It's important to find your own unique approach to problem solving. And the way I think of this is, I think of it in terms of developing workflows for different scenarios. You need to have workflows in general for how you approach specific things that you're going to do as far as problems you're going to solve. And what I mean by that is, if you have to edit a large number of photographs, for example, that you're going to use in a layout of some kind, you need to have a standardized approach to how you go and solve the problem timely of editing 50 photos. If you're going to start a book cover project, you need to have an established process or multiple established processes for how you approach book cover design. You need to think about really what you're going to do, what problems you're going to be addressing, and you need to have a predetermined strategy and approach to dealing with these things. And that's what workflows really are. They're your standardized approaches to problem solving. So, some things that have changed about graphic design. If you haven't been watching some of my videos lately, then I'm just going to kind of play a little bit of catch up to say that design has changed dramatically from 10 years ago, and some of your professors, if you're a design student, may be giving you information that isn't wrong, but maybe a little dated. This one is a little controversial, but I'm going to say the age of specialist is, if it's not over already, it's coming to a close. And I say that because of the economics involved. Because the bottom line is, we're living in an integrated media world. You have technologies and you have things that you use every day that do multiple things. You have a smartphone, for example. It's not just a phone. You don't just use it to do phone calls anymore. You use it to do a lot of things. You use it as a primary communication device. They do photo, they do video, they do audio. They are a planner, they do applications, they're calculators. They do all these different things in a singular device. If you can be that smart tool that somebody needs, if you can offer them more than one thing, if you can be the equivalent, the physical embodiment of a smartphone for them, then the odds are you can be used more effectively and you can move up a lot quicker in your career than someone who specializes. Someone who specializes oftentimes is doomed to stay where they are because they become invaluable for doing that one thing, and someone can't take the chance of not having someone do that one thing as well as that person does. So being a specialist can be a career trap. If you're a generalist in graphic design, then it means you can explore all kinds of different opportunities, you can explore different career pathways, you can explore more employment opportunities than someone who only has, one thing to offer. And if there's an industry change for that one thing, it won't impact you nearly as much. It's a brave new world out there for designers with regard to the technology available and the different ways in which we can communicate, share our craft, collaborate, new advancements in mobile technology, different things like Google Hangouts. All these things allow us to not only communicate and collaborate and work better with each other, but just to share more with each other as creatives and really add more value to our industry and also demonstrate some of our own knowledge. So I'm really thankful for that. This isn't a Thanksgiving video, but I think it's important to say, and I think it's important as a designer to be one of the people in the world that has a gratitude attitude and thinks positively, because we put so much out into the world from the time people wake up to when they go to bed that they experience, that if we're not the positive people in the world, I think that would just be very bleak. So that's just my approach and my thought process on that. Everyone will do what they're going to do, to each his own, and that in itself is actually great because we're not all approaching things from the same point of view. Everybody adding their own creativity, their own perspective and point of view on things is what makes the graphic design industry and the world in general such an interesting and adventurous place to be. So anyway, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope we all learned something. Like this video if you liked it. Don't forget to subscribe. Give me your opinions and thoughts on graphic design in the comments below. In the comments, also feel free to add any resources or links to different things that you think young graphic designers need to be taking a look at. And I'll see you guys on the next video. Don't forget, Photoshop CC tutorial videos every Thursday, so stay tuned for that.